remember when I said I was back and then proceeded to disappear again? Hi everyone, my name is Maddie and welcome back to my channel, or thanks for joining us if you are new here. I am so sorry. I know that I was like, I'm back, I've got like all these cool ideas, I want to dive into all of these things, and honestly, my personal life is a bit of a shit show right now, and I got sick again. So you're gonna have to be patient with me. I promise the videos will keep coming. I'm just gonna be a little delayed, like the fact that it is February 7th, maybe later than that when I'm uploading this, and I haven't done a January wrap-up yet. I don't even think, did I do a December wrap-up? I can't remember. That might be a thing that comes out at some point in time. It's fine. We're fine. So, this is a statement on how my life is going. I only read 5 books in January. It's fine. We're rolling with it. We're just gonna dive in. So the first book that I read is Wolfsong, which is by T.J. Klune. I really like T.J. Klune. I read 4 of his books in 2021, and I was like, you know what, let's get back into his catalog. Let's, read all of the old stuff that he has. And I know that people have talked about the Green Creek series before, and I've seen, I've stumbled across fan art sometimes for it. I was like, okay, cool. I like werewolves. This should be fun. It was not. I genuinely don't know how I finished this book. Okay, there's nothing wrong with, age gaps between characters, but the problem is, these characters meet when the main character is, 11, I think. And there's, a 6-year age gap, so the other character is, 17, and then, imprints on him at that age, which I just have so many issues with that. Basically, my thing was, they took all the, it felt like he took all the weird stuff about werewolves and, made that the focus. There's all sorts of alpha, beta, omega things, which if you exist anywhere in fan fiction, all of those words are just cursed for me. And then there's, a whole thing with their, scent and, smelling, but also everyone can smell when they get horny or aroused, which is super weird and, a little gross when, your whole family is around. And I do think there was a part of this where I was like, maybe I am 2A's, but there was also a part of it where I'm like, this is weird. My mom reads a lot of, vampire werewolf stuff, so we were talking about werewolf dynamics and, whether it was weird or not, and, how different books pick and choose different things and how it's effective or not. I don't even think I gave you the plot of this book. Do I even remember what it is? Not really. I'm just gonna say I do not recommend it, but if you want to check it out, if that's your thing, you can go do that. I have a lot of problems with this book, but I'm gonna stop talking. Otherwise, I will rant about it for forever. After this, I finished the 4th season of the Magnus Archives, and I am very emotional today because I just finished the 5th season, but that'll be in my February wrap-up. Basically, this whole series takes place centered around the Magnus Institute in London, which is this this fictional organization that takes statements of people who have supernatural encounters. I really liked the 4th season because I think the biggest thing was that the characters really started to develop and come into their own. And for some of the earlier seasons, they were just kind of individual statements for different things. Martin in particular is my favorite character, and we really got a lot of him in this season. And also one of the big things in this season is the fear that is defined as the lonely, and as someone with depression that hit really close to home. So I ended up giving this 4.5 stars because I really loved it. It's an incredible podcast. I'm not a podcast person, but listening to this audio drama is probably as close as I'm going to get to be able to do audiobooks. So if you're someone who likes horror and some really stellar acting and storytelling, I would definitely recommend checking that out. After this, I read the 1st season of The Croaking, which is a webcomic by Echo Rise. You can read it on Webtoons. It takes place in this world where everyone is avian in the sense that they're humans but they have wings, and the corvids, which is the family of birds that crows are a part of, is kind of the lower class citizens of the society, because essentially they supposedly caused a war that led all of them, like everyone being forced onto this island because it destroyed the rest of the world. There's a lot of like prejudice and discrimination against crows, and we follow Skra and Kai. So Skra is a crow who has been allowed into the Roost. Is that what it's called? I think it's called the Roost. It's like this elite military academy, and there he meets Kai, who is also there on a scholarship as well, and they seem to be, you know, they're trying to figure out what this thing called the Croaking is. There's a lot of, like, spy stuff, but also, like, class stuff, and, like, the murders that the crows are all part of is a little bit like gang warfare and, like, turf fighting and everything. There's a lot of layers to it as, like, the story builds out. Like most comics, there's so much going on. But the first season was really good, and I think the first season kind of ends with this, like, lovely little beachy scene, which I really appreciate, so I love that. The only thing that I didn't like was there was too much of an explanation about how reproductive system works, and they lay eggs in that universe. And that just weirds me out, but that's just a me thing. Still recommend reading it. After this, Saga finally came back, so I was able to read the first issue of Saga, which is number 55. Oh my, do I have thoughts. I ended up befriending some people online so that I have people to talk about this. I don't know if I'm allowed to, like, spoil it. It's kind of weird when you're reading this far into the series, but the last issue, Saga 54, ended on, like, a huge cliffhanger, and with us not knowing where a lot of different characters are, this issue completely reopened my trauma again with a complete smack in the face. But it's fine. I'm coping okay. This is kind of interesting for me because I read all of Saga, like, kind of in chunks as it was coming out, so it's very different to be reading it, like, one issue at a time as it's released month by month, and also, you know, wanting to know more about characters and everything and how they're doing and, like, where they are, but, like, also knowing that it's probably going to be months until, like, some of these characters reappear. So that was kind of interesting because it feels very different trying to, like, give, like, a star rating to, like, one issue of a comic as opposed to, like, even a volume that, like, encompasses 10 issues or something like that. So, very happy it's back. Do still have some processing to do for it. Of the things I've read this year, I have, like, emotionally traumatized myself. Maybe a little bit too much. After this, I read the second season of The Croaking, which I already talked about, and this is just kind of, like, getting all the way caught up. I'm pretty sure now we're at, like, the mid-season hiatus, or, like, a little break. Mid-season finale? Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I know words. But yes, it's definitely, like, more intrigue, more backstory, and there's more, like, things that are being hidden or not talked about by certain characters. So I keep waiting for, like, all the shit to hit the fan and, like, everything to kind of blow up so that we can start to get better. But we're not quite there yet. There's a couple characters I am quite worried about, but because it's the second season, I will not get into that too much so that I don't spoil anything. And that's it. Wow. These videos feel so much shorter and a little boring when I don't have that much that I've read. It's also very weird because Wolfsong is the only novel that I've read this year. Other than that, I've read a comic issue, 2 seasons of a webcomic, and listened to an audio drama, which is, like, very weird for me. But mostly I'm just trying to get back into that headspace of, like, getting my life sorted out and, like, hopefully soon getting the energy back up for reading. I do know that someone left me a note on one of my videos about a web novel to check out, so I'll definitely try and find some time to take a look at that, but if people do have other suggestions, feel free to drop a comment down below. Otherwise, sorry for the short video. I do want to try and get back into filming, just be a little gentle with me as I try to, like, get in the headspace and work around what is going on with my life right now. That's everything. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so that you can see when more videos come out. And until the next video, stay kind.